Hello, hello everybody. Welcome to Lunch and Learn Live for Tuesday the 5th of January. Hello wherever in the world you are. As you arrive and come and join us and say hello, please do say hello in the comments section. Let me know who is here, where in the world you are, and what's for lunch. I had, what did I just have? Oh, some leftover pasta from last night. I had a bit of smoked salmon pasta, which was nice last night, but to be perfectly honest, microwaved and refreshed, not so good. And today I am breaking with tradition, and rather than Earl Grey, I have matcha green, trying to reduce my caffeine intake. That buzz, what's that flickering light? Is that going to drive you nuts? It's certainly driving me nuts. Let's just make sure that that's, see if we can adjust that in any way, shape or form. Make your lives easier. Anti-flicker, oh no, it's on the right anti-flicker. No, there's the right anti-flicker. Yeah, who knows? Who knew? There we go. Don't know what's going on there. Don't know what's going on. We'll just hope. Hello, Kathy is having lentil and pea soup with yogurt in Abingdon. Yum, that sounds good. Kathy Elliott is up bright and shiny over in Michigan. Hello, darling. How are you? Sending lots of love to you over on that side of the pond. How's things in the States at the moment? It's gotten crazy again here in the UK. Jean is in Withensea. A very unhealthy sausage roll and crisps. Oh, my God, but that sounds good, doesn't it? Who wants pastry? Me! Ah! Simone, tell me why I'm waving at my screen when you can't see me. I don't know, Simone, but I'm waving right back to you, darling. Can't wait to see you ladies on a Zoom call and actually see you in face. Lovely. Oh, my dad's there again today. Hello, Dad. Lynn from Belmont near Bolton in Lancashire just had a yummy bagel with cream cheese. Alison, Happy New Year. A decaf oat milk cappuccino. Yum-o. Oh. Maggie's in Oxford having a cup of tea in a lovely new mug and some leftover Christmas chocolates. Yum. Alison in Aylesbury, cottage cheese on toast with caramelised onion pickle. Oh, how delicious. Oh, and there's Kerry Anderson. Hello, you. How are you, darling? Big love to you and your big, wonderful family over there, honey bun. Hope you're all right. Good to see you. Well, wherever you are in the world, ladies, hello and welcome to Lunch and Learn Live. Today, we are going to talk about how to start a new year with hope and optimism and vision for the future when all of our plans, certainly in the UK, just got quashed under the weight of 5 weeks of homeschooling again. And I know, yes, that's just the parents in England, because over in Scotland they knew it was happening, and in our Northern Ireland's been happening as well. For us, the blow was dealt yesterday. But it's not just us, right? It's absolutely not just us. Many of us had plans and hopes for 2021, which, frankly, we're like, we all kind of know it at some level, right? We know it at some level that nothing really changed when the date changed. There was still a global pandemic. There was still all sorts of things, despite all of the Facebook memes, and I love them. I saw one the other day. It's like a sandwich board outside a cafe saying, 2021, your only mandate is be better than 2020. It's easy. You've got this. Or something along those sorts of lines. But, on the one hand, nothing changed except the date, right? So we're still all in the same situation that we were a few days ago. And yet, our very human nature has this deep desire, this deep drive to be optimistic, to be hopeful, to turn over a new leaf, to have a fresh start, to say, fuck you, 2020, that was awful. Nah. And leave it all behind and start afresh in some way, shape, or form. Who can relate to what I'm saying? Give me a little thumbs up or send me some love or some laughing faces so that I know that I'm not just entertaining myself. But yes, right? Absolutely. So we're human. We want to have this fresh start. We want to have this new opportunity, this new sense, this new hope for the future. And yet still, we are in the middle of one of the most challenging chapters that our generation has seen. possibly that many generations have seen, do you know? I can't speak for everyone, and I can't speak to every country in the world, and I know there have been huge things that have happened in many countries, you know, in more recent years. But where we've got a whole globe having a shared experience that is informing then what's happening at national and local levels all around the world, and then at very individual and personal levels in different households, you know, this kind of scope is something that we haven't really faced before. So how do we do it? Should we do it? You know, I guess that's the first question we've got to ask ourselves. Like, how many of you kind of went, yeah, New Year, whatever, like, you know, I can't even, I saw Jen Lamarinel, one of our in-house coaches, posted on Facebook. She said, anyone planning in pencil this year? Yes, absolutely, right? Because plans are changing so frequently, we can't actually plan. We can only do our very best at what is called scenario planning, which I'm going to talk about in our Activate Challenge, which is coming up next week. So the very best that we can do is plan in terms of scenarios. And yet we need a way to navigate, and yet we need that. I was talking to my coach. We had a catch up the other day before Christmas, and I was talking to him about, you know, what's going on in the world, and he said one of the greatest challenges for people lose hope, and they lose kind of perspective when they can't imagine a future with them in it, when they can't imagine themselves in the future in some way. And he said one of the crises that we have around the world at the moment are that there are huge swathes of us who are unable to imagine a future, do you know? And I think that's something that that is going to cause political challenges. I think it's something that is going to cause, you know, social unrest, has already caused a lot of social unrest and will continue to do so. And so much of it is because of great swathes of us not being able to imagine the future. So my opinion on this is that absolutely we need our imagination. We need our imagination now more than ever. We need to be able to activate our imagination to be able to envision a future, whether that be a personal future for ourselves, whether it be a family future, whether it be for your organization and your business, or whether it be for your community or for your nation. We need to be collectively able to activate our imagination and imagine this a vision for our future. We need this. We absolutely need this. If we don't do it, if we kind of go, oh God, I can't plan, I can't predict, I can't think forward, you know, yes, there's the great spiritual pursuit of just being in the present moment. Absolutely, right? Absolutely, there's that. And yet, at also a very human vessel level, you know, at our body level, we do need to make plans for the future. You know, we need to know if how are you going to support yourself financially 3 months hence? You know, like, it's not like we can just totally be in the present moment without any forward thinking. So yes, absolutely. One of the skills we need to get great at in times like this is the ability to be in the present, is the ability to breathe, is the ability just to know that in this very moment we're totally fine. And the topic of today's session is, and how do we have optimism and hope? How do we forward think? How do we imagine a new vision of the future that we can navigate by when details change dramatically in a kind of day by day, week by week process? How's this landing with you, ladies? Let me check in from a couple of you. Aisha says, Happy New Year, ladies. From sunny Birmingham, I've made 0 concrete plans, just taking each day as it comes. And that's great, right? That's absolutely great. If you've got a secure job, if the basics are taken care of, that ability is fantastic at this time. Absolutely fantastic. And then let's start to think, how can I imagine things different for people? What plans do I want to perhaps have an impact in the world, if we've got it in our tanks, and we'll come to that. Alison says, I thought I was just going to say, just another day, but lockdown news has knocked me more than imagined. Yeah, it has, right? It absolutely has. Just for those of you who are obviously not in England, the UK Prime Minister announced that England was going into full national lockdown, schools closing and everything until the middle of February last night at 8 o'clock. I know Scotland's done the same. I think Northern Ireland is the same. Wales, I think, were you guys already there? Or I forget where Wales was up to. It's crazy, right? But it does. It'll knock us about, right? It will knock us about, especially because we kind of know what it means this time a lot. Absolutely. Jean says, I've planned what I'll eat tonight. Tomorrow will take care of itself. That's it. And Jean says, it's knocked me even much more this time, even though it was so obvious it was coming. True. Carol says, my plan is to pick up some of the one of many daily habits that have dropped off as the pandemic hit that second wave. I think that's going to be critical for us, yes? Aisha says, I think it's the lack of an end date to pin our hopes on. It's so disappointing. That's it. It's like, okay, we're going to do that was it with our kind of second wave thing, right? We knew, okay, we're locking down until this date, then we'll be fine. But we don't have any of that. How do we be with this uncertainty? How do we envisage a future? How do we activate energy for forward momentum when we don't know? How do we do that? And that's what I want to talk about today. Lynn says, I've scheduled today to make plans for 2021 business-wise. Just jumped on my laptop and you popped up, so I'm watching you first. Well done, Lynn. Well done. Kathy's saying, that's so sad. Love to all of our UK cousins. Thank you, darling. Thank you. It's getting a little bit out of hand again here, so we're doing the best we can. Keji's saying, I feel exactly the same. Yeah, so it's tough times, right? It's tough times. And no matter where we are in the world, even if things are fabulous and rosy where you are. So, I know my sister's in Melbourne and they did a hard lockdown over the winter, but now they're no longer in hard lockdown. They're coming out in the summer and, cases are low. Well, they were low. They're getting high again. But there was this brief moment. It is easier, I think, to be happy in good weather. It's easier to kind of be optimistic in good weather. But wherever we are right now, we need to be able to activate this kind of forward momentum. So the first thing to say about all of this, ladies, is starting next Monday, I am going to be leading our community through a 5-day challenge to ignite your vision and catalyze the kind of courage that we're going to need to create the life and the impact that you want over 2021. It's going to be a new year kind of release and planning process. It's called Activate 2021. It's going to be completely free to participate in. It'll be held right here on Facebook. You cannot register for it, though, until this Friday. So you have Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, 3 days to register. If you are in our email list, you will get an email notification. So if you've joined our subscriber list, if you receive blogs from us and so on, we'll tell you about it. The other thing you can do is right here on the One of Many page, you can go to your settings on the page and say, see these posts first. And you'll always see posts from One of Many on your Facebook feed first then. And we'll also be publicizing it here on the One of Many page too. So keep a really close eye out for it Friday, Saturday, Sunday, because you've only got that long to get registered. It's a really short window. We're going to have a little pop-up Facebook group called Activate that we're going to be running. And my expectation is we're going to have thousands of women inside that community going through this 5-day challenge. It's Monday through Friday. We're going to be going live in the Facebook group, just like I am here now. Just for short sessions, though, little short sessions at 9 a.m. London time every day. And then next Saturday, I am taking you through a full workshop on how, not just how to, but we'll actually be envisioning 2021 together in that workshop on Saturday morning. So it's going to be a powerful New Year process that you're all very welcome to join. I can't give you registration links today because it's not live until Friday, but keep your eye out. Watch all of our posts, check in on the page, make sure you check your emails from us and get yourself registered. The lives will be happening at 9 a.m. Monday through Friday of next week, London time, that is. So if you can attend live, fabulous. But of course, like every Facebook Live, it'll be recorded and available immediately. So yeah, good. So the reason I say that is because what I want to talk about today is what are the distinctions we need to be aware of before we can kind of go into it. And then the challenge next week that I'm taking you through is going to help get you in the right frame of mind. Like there's exercises to do. We're going to do the work. We're going to do the inner work to get you ready for that visioning process next Saturday. But today I want to talk about the hows and the whys and the wherefores. Does this make sense, ladies? So we absolutely need to be able to work on plans. We need to be able to capture a vision for our future to live into in order to feed hope, right? To feed ourselves with hope, to feed ourselves with that optimism. We all know that when we look out at the future and all we see is bleak, that informs us very much in the present. Yes, we need to learn to just be okay in the present moment. I won't keep referencing that. That spiritual practice of mindfulness and breathing and being okay is critical. And of course, we support you with all of that stuff. But I just want to talk a little here about where we are living in the future or not. And when if we're imagining something that feels like we don't know when it's going to end, if we can't plan for our business because we don't, for us at One of Many, 12 months ago, we were an events-based company. The primary deliverable that we had was events in person at Stratford Manor or in London. And that was the key cornerstone of our business. And I cannot tell you how many different versions of scenarios we have been through over the course of the past 12 months and I wouldn't say that we have pivoted and come away from that. I know that ability for women to come together in a held space and in a container is still critical to who we are. And when we can come together again, we will be doing it. We're not leaving that behind. I know a lot of companies have pivoted and gone, we're all online. Online is great. But you and I both know that there's something when you are dancing with another woman, when you're sharing intimately with her in close quarters, when you feel her heart, you feel her pain, you feel her possibility, you feel her optimism, that has a real wow, which is far better than what we can do online. Of course, we can do amazing things online, but that makes such critical difference. So we're not that company anymore. But what we are doing is responding and reacting, navigating by a North Star of our purpose, right? Navigating by the North Star of the mission that we have in the world to equip 1 million women with the tools to sustainably change their corner of the world. The style in which we're doing that at the moment is slightly different, but that vision, right? I have a vision of the world where there is parity of leadership, where there are as many prime ministers and presidents in the world that are women as there are men, where there are as many board members and C-suite executives that are women as there are men, where there are that many church and religious leaders that are women and as there are men. Do you know that in the spiritual communities, and no matter what the area is, that it's not the normal that there be more men than women in leadership? Right? That is the vision that I have for the future. In order for us to achieve that, so much has to change because absolutely, right? Women are fit for leadership, but is leadership the way that we do it in the world out there at the moment, in our kind of masculine paradigm? Is leadership fit for women? A lot of women look at it and go, bugger that, do you know? I will burn out if I have to do it like that. So in order for us to achieve that parity, we've got to shift the very paradigm we're operating in. And that's what we're doing here at One of Many. Now, the reason I take the time to share all of that with you is because it is that distinction, it is that vision, it is that North Star that doesn't change, right? That is out beyond the horizon of a pandemic. It is out beyond the horizon of whether or not Boris Johnson is the Prime Minister of the UK, whether or not Brexit or not, there's some local things that are going on for us, whether or not there's an easy transition of power in the States, whether or not I'll ever be able to fly back and see my family in Australia, whether or not international travel will ever be a thing again in the same way. Beyond all of that, there is a horizon that if we can dream large enough, long enough, it provides a North Star that pulls us forward. Does that make sense? The challenge when things are where the rate of change is fast moving, like it is right now, right? We had a fast rate of change in March. Things plateaued out a little bit for about 6 months. Then we've entered fast rate of change again. That's certainly what's been happening in the UK, and I think, I think that was reflected in Australia and also in the States. The countries that I'm watching most. Because of where my contacts are and where I'm speaking to people, and I'm interested if you're over anywhere else in the world. Does that make sense for you? The rate of change of things, like how fast we're having to make new decisions, right? How fast are you having to make new decisions until you can find a kind of rhythm and a routine, and then we have to find a new rhythm and routine. How has that been wherever you are? But here's the thing, right? When the rate of change is fast, we need to be able to envision a future beyond the horizon. This is a part of our queen energy. And for those of you who are new to our community, and if any of you are new today, say hello. By the way, if this is helpful for you and you know you've got some friends that could really benefit from envisaging their 2021, please put their name in the comment section, tag them in the video and tell them that I'm doing this right now. Invite them to come and join us. Or they can watch the replay of the video later, right? But please do tag your friends, share it with your friends. We'd love to have them on board. So this is we here at One of Many have 5 women's power types that we talk about: the mother, the sorceress, the warrioress, the lover, and the queen. And we talk about these energies as they're the archetypical energies. All of us have at least some of them inside of us. They are the energies of the mature feminine. And when we can activate them inside of ourselves, we can create, we have the abilities to solve almost any problem that the world wants to throw at us, for starters, but also we have the resources to face any opportunity that comes. And queen is one of these. And what I'm talking about here, this ability to envisage or envision a horizon beyond the current crisis, whether that be a family crisis or a national crisis, this is part of queen energy, right? Part of our queen energy, our ability to find a horizon that we can envisage beyond. So the ability to imagine a future is critical to the stability of what I would call your realm. What is your realm? Your realm are those people that you care about, that you care for. It would be your family, your extended family, your organizations, charities you support, and so on. Those people for whom you want the best, right? They are your realm. And to provide that realm stability through crisis, you need to be able to have this imagination, right? You need to be able to imagine that future. Now, my first question is, how many of you have found challenges in visioning while things have been so uncertain, right? How many of you have had challenges with that? Please let me know in the questions, in the comment section, because I would like to, I'd really like to hear that, because I want to talk to you about what gets in the way of us being able to envision. Oh, wow, Maria, thank you for sharing with your friend. Alison, thank you for sharing with your friends. That's great. Yay, well done. That's it, absolutely. Good. I'm not quite following these things. Yes, so Jotun is saying yes, she's experienced those problems. Rosa's saying yes, Alison's saying yes. A few of you have done that, right? Absolutely. So here's a couple of reasons that you might be struggling to activate that vision. And remember, I've got the workshop happening next Saturday. So Saturday week, whatever that is on the calendar. I'm terrible at dates. Saturday the 16th. I'm going to take you through the process. But if you've tried to do some New Year planning and you've struggled to imagine and to envision and to see what you want to create and plan, a couple of things might be happening. Number one, it might be your time frames. It is impossible for me to imagine where we will be in 3 months, right? Right now, it's impossible for me to imagine where we're in 3 months. but it doesn't matter that I can't imagine 3 months, right? It is almost impossible for me to even imagine where we will be in 12 months, right? It's almost impossible. It's almost impossible. I can envision parts of it. I can envision stability and safety for my family. I can envision a really tight, I can feel the energy of a tight team, my one of many team jiving and flowing and rolling. Like I can feel that energy. I can feel the energy of containment around our beautiful community and thousands of women in that beautiful community. Can I envision whether or not we're going to be doing a one-woman conference? No, I can't. I've got no freaking idea. No idea. But this doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter. What matters is what is the direction? What's my navigational point? What's my North Star? That North Star is a certainty, which for me is generations out, right? It doesn't have to be that far out, but for me, that's where mine is. Of parity of leadership. That I see that. So then that feeds forward. It's the energy of that feeds forward into every little moment and every decision point where I go, okay, in order to shift the dial towards that, what is the next right thing I can do in one of many? What is the next right thing I can do in parenting my daughter? What is the next right thing I can do in my relationship with my husband? What's the next right thing I can do with my extended family? Does this make sense? Because there's a vision I have which is ensconced in a paradigm shift, and it then becomes like the compass. I'm like, okay, that direction, what's the next right thing? Even though I can't necessarily plan everything, yeah? Yeah, got it, good. So the first thing is, if your time frames are too short, if you're trying to just create a plan for the next 6 months, that will be hard if you're looking to create a singular plan for the next 6 months. Because the rate of change and of societal change and of national change in most countries around the world, it's happening so quickly, right? And our health is, our collective health is at risk. Like so much is up in the air that the ability to collectively plan, the ability to solidly plan the way that we could even 2 years ago is almost non-existent. So if you can't imagine, you might be imagining too short. So the first thing is stretch out your time frames. Does this make sense, ladies? Give me a little heads up on that if that is, give me a little thumbs up, a little bit of feedback on that. Yes, yeah. Yeah, great. Alison's saying John and Missy Butcher life book speak about exactly the same for next action, hour, day, week, month. That's it. We don't have to have it all clear, right? Oh, that's good. Alison says, ironically, all the learning I've been doing over this last year has actually given me better planning skills. Great. Yes, good. So the first piece is your time frames, right? Your time frames. Yeah, good. And now might be the next thing, Ros, because I remember your shares from the last couple of weeks, and this might hit. So Ros is saying, I get that, totally, but my vision is really wobbly, and I'm not sure about it in the same way that you are. Yeah, got it. So 2 pieces. The next thing that can get in the way of having that star to navigate by, and I saw this a lot when we ran our Emerging Together training last year in May, was that I did a visioning workshop then, and some women are like, my eyes are closed, I'm opening up, and I'm not getting nothing, nada, nothing, can't see a thing. And as I dug in and coached those women that were really struggling to access vision across the board for almost all of those women, I won't say all because I can't remember the exact detail, but what landed with me very powerfully was that all of those women were on their knees with exhaustion. They were depleted. They had nothing in the tank. So it's kind of like you're asking your imagination. Like, so I have a saying, like, let me put it in this context, right? When my kids, there's different types of game I play with my 7-year-old and my 3-year-old. And Rosie at 3, just the same as James did when he was 3, loves imagination games. Mummy, let's play Paw Patrol. Can I tell you a funny secret? Up until about 3 weeks ago, Paw Patrol, you know the show Paw Patrol, Rosie likes the dogs in Paw Patrol, so we have to play Paw Patrol a lot. But up until about 3 weeks ago, it was called Haw Patrol. Haw Patrol. Because you couldn't say Paw Patrol, which has brought us a year of amusement. But 3 weeks ago, she clocked it, and it's now Paw Patrol. It's still not patrol, Patrol. It's still Pintrol, Pintrol, is how I imagine it in my mind. But we are no longer pintrolling for whores. We are pintrolling the paws. Total tangent. Excuse me while I bring myself back. Right. So, we have to play Paw Patrol. Paw Patrol falls into the category of what I call imagination games with my team, with my kids. And there are times when I can play imagination games, and there are times when I cannot play imagination games. And times when I cannot play imagination games are when I am exhausted. If I have had a massive day of problem solving at work, and then I arrive downstairs and I've got to put some dinner on and get the kids organised, and then after dinner, Rosie wants to play Paw Patrol, I struggle because I've got nothing in my tank. I'm depleted, right? On a Saturday morning, after we've had a bit of a sleep in and we've had pancakes and we're all together as a family, I'm good for imagination games. You know, I'm great for imagination games. We can play Paw Patrol until the cows come home. So I'm really open with my kids about that. I say we can play a board game. I can play top trumps. We can play, we can play anything with structure where I don't have to imagine what the game is. I'm in. But that imagination, it takes executive functioning. And when you are exhausted, when you are burnt out, when you're on your knees because you're going too hard, making too many decisions for too long, and you haven't been replenishing, and not just average replenishment, we are in a cycle of time right now where we need radical replenishment, right? If you're on your knees, then you won't see, if you can't imagine. The faculty of imagination is hard, almost impossible to access when you're depleted. So much of what we're going to do in Activate next week is emptying out what you're full of, right? Because we are full of hurt, and we are full of resentment and frustration and anger and fear and shame and guilt and a whole lot of stuff. Oh my goodness. Because I did the process I'm about to take you through myself after Christmas Day. I think I started on about the 27th. I started this process myself and did my 7-day challenge. So I was ready to support you ladies with yours. And there was a lot. There was a lot of stuff I had to empty out, right? So I emptied out all of the stuff. And then when you're back, we've got to do some nourishing. We've got to replenish. Then we can activate that vision. So that's the second thing that can get in the way of hope and optimism is the ability to imagine. What gets in the way of the ability to imagine is being depleted. Does this recognize? Does this land with you, ladies? Right? Does this? Yeah, this is it. Great, fantastic. Exactly. Great. Louise said, this is my first real learning. Awesome. Yeah, good. Melinda says, radical replenishment. That's what is needed. I agree. Absolutely. Yes. Louise says, massively. Me too, right? Oh, whoops, I've lost you. Great. Amelia, thank you for sharing this. Thank you. Lovely. Good. So this is landing. Now, this is another really interesting piece here. Simone says, I used to worry about my lack of vision and having a blurred North Star. However, now I'm focused on enjoying the journey towards my blurry North Star because I've got faith that my journey will bring clarity. And that's the third piece, right? The third piece is your North Star. If you think about it, where does that metaphor come from? It comes from the mariners, right? It comes from sailors. It comes from sailors who would set out, like I think of the Vikings. I've been watching a little bit of Vikings again lately. I preferred the early seasons. There's lots of, when Ragnar was around. I miss Ragnar. I miss Lagertha with her swords and stuff. I watched a couple of episodes of the most recent season and I went, nah, yeah, not feeling it. And instead went to Bridgerton, as I think most of the UK has, and fell in love with the Duke. Another tangent. So anyway, back to the sailors. Let's think about the Vikings. So the Vikings would set off in these tiny little boats going to the great western land, or they discovered Iceland and they went to all over the world. And what would they use? They would use the stars. Now, were the stars there every night? Could they see the North Star every single night? No. Could they see it in the day? No, they couldn't. Can you see your vision super clearly every single day? No. But as long as you can see glimmers of it, or more importantly, for those of us like myself who have an embodied intelligence, who are very feeling based, which is me, For me, I talk about seeing my vision of the world where it's parity, but it's actually a more accurate way of describing that is I feel it. I feel what it would be like to live in that world. I feel it. So I go, yeah, I feel that, and therefore I know the direction that it lives and that it exists in, right? Yours might be auditory. It might be words or little whisperings that you hear. I remember I don't have a lot of auditory stuff happen to me, but I remember one night vividly lying in my bed, and I heard a woman's voice at the door of my bedroom saying, "Hello, my darling." I'm like, what? Like it was there. It was just so clear. So if you are one of those lucky people to whom spirits or ancestors or God or whomever whispers, it could be auditory, right? It could be absolutely auditory. So it's just blurry is fine. Glimmers every now and then and losing it is fine, provided you can feel, sense, or otherwise intuit the right direction, as long as you've got enough of it. You don't, and so part of that from Roz that you were saying earlier is yours isn't as clear. Take a leaf out of Simone's book here is blurry is great, as long as you've got the general direction, because unlike the stars, to use a clearer metaphor, right, for us about how a vision clarifies, is it's kind of like if we're out on the sea and then out on the horizon you see the land, right? You see just land, right? I love sailing, absolutely love it. And you're out on the sea, the first thing you see is land. As you get a little closer, you see, oh, look, that looks like it might be a point jutting out over another bit. So maybe there's an inlet behind that. As you get closer, you see, oh, yes, that is indeed a point. And you can see that there is an inlet. Is it a river mouth? Is it just an inlet of the coast? We don't know. When we get closer, we go in and we see it more clearly. So the closer we get to our vision, the clearer it can become for us. But land is enough to navigate towards. Blurry North Stars are enough. So let go of perfection around it, I think, is a key piece for that. How is this landing? Oh, lovely. Landing well? Yes. Dominique says landed, because women are often so tired at work. That's why they're said to not be visionary. I think you're probably right, Dom. I think you're absolutely right. I think because of the paradigm that most workplaces operate in, which is masculine, which calls forth superwoman, which demeans and disenfranchises us from our natural talents and abilities of visioning from sorceress energy, where there's no space for that in the paradigm, absolutely that can happen. So we need to give ourselves space to do that, right? Maggie says, clarity is my word for 2021. And when you're looking for clarity, Maggie, what I would suggest around that is clarity of, there's only one thing you need to be clear about to navigate, to have hope and optimism for planning the year ahead, right? Only one thing really that you need clarity on, or maybe two things. Something out there beyond the horizon of the chaos that you're moving towards that will provide you with the hope and the North Star, the navigation. The second thing is discernment, is the quality of being able to feel, is this a yes? Is this a no? Does this take me closer? Does it take me further away? If you bring those two things in, you'll be navigating with your feminine powers, right? Not strategic planning from masculine energy, but navigating this insane time from the natural advantages you have as a woman, navigating moment by moment. And I've got to tell you, the women in our community that I am seeing navigate this way at the moment are navigating powerfully. Their businesses are growing boldly. They have a sense of courage. I'm not saying they didn't, they don't wobble. I mean, I think, everybody in England yesterday probably wobbled. I wobbled. Everybody wobbles. It's not about that. But what I mean is there's a resourcefulness here inside of a resilience. It activates so much more than just having a plan and am I on the plan and am I accountable to my plan. It becomes much more it's you. This is your natural advantages, right? As a woman, you can navigate this way naturally if you take care of a few key pieces, right? And those key pieces we've spoken about. So what do we need to do then? What do we need to do next? Number one, make sure we are not full up of anger, resentment, frustration, fear, etc. Because you can't feel a yes from a no when every time your spouse looks at you funny, you want to punch them in the face. You can't feel a yes from a no if every time your kid uses a whingy, whiny voice, you want to run from the room screaming. You can't tell a yes from a no if every time your boss asks you to do this one extra thing, you want to shut down your computer and cry in the carpet, right? You can't feel your yes from your no if every time you look at the news, you go into a blind panic. So we have to empty out all that emotional stuff. That is one of the things that we're going to be doing in the Activate Challenge coming up. It's my New Year's process. I do it every year, and I'm going to be taking you ladies through it for the first time this year in detail. So that's one of the first things we'll be doing. Not the only thing we're going to be doing. We're going to be also gathering together the incredible gift that was 2020. And I know that sounds hard to say. I know many of you are already present to it, but we're going to be gathering it together, gathering our lessons together. And we are then going to be from this place of wholeness, of bringing ourselves back to wholeness, rest, replenishment, and completion, envisioning our 2021 and beyond together. In fact, it's more likely to be beyond and then seeing what that presents to us by way of 2021 movement forward. Yes. Janet says, ooh, a vision doesn't have to be perfect. I thought I'd cured myself of perfectionism and bang, there it is again. Well, I'm letting that go right away. Well done, Janet. Well identified, my darling. That's it. If we've got a perfectionist inside us, I'm not sure if she ever truly goes away, but we just keep catching her out more and more. Well done, you. Maggie says, thank you. That makes lots of sense. To all of you who are sharing this video with friends, thank you. If this has landed well with you, I would love you to invite your friends to the video. Please just tag them. All you have to do is in the comment section, write their name, and Facebook will present their name to you. If you click on that name and then hit enter, it'll tag them and they'll see the video. Or you could share this to your Facebook page as well, because just share it to your pages if it's landed for you to do. Lovely. Lynn says, empty your cup to fill it up. I'm doing this more often. That's the way, my darling. Louise says, me too. Interesting. Fiona says, that's me at the moment. I just want to curl up in a ball. I expect that means curl up in a ball, but I like curly up in a ball. If you're depleted, that is going to be the first thing, right? We've got to empty. First of all, we've got to move the emotions out of the way. And then we've got to nourish and nurture you, right? We've got to get those pieces in because it's going to be hard to see beyond the horizon from this place. So ladies, I would like to hear from you in the comment section now, your takeaways from today. What are you taking away from this session today and what are you going to be doing as a result of it? A reminder, if you've only just joined us, that as of this Friday, you will have 3 days to register for our Activate 2021 challenge. Or you could follow the hashtag Activate 2021. That's the hashtag we're going to be using, and we will give you the registration page on Friday because we're doing everything on Facebook. It's just a very short window of time. So that's going to be happening this Friday. You can get registered and we start together on Monday. I will be going live in the pop-up Facebook group that we are creating just for this challenge at 9 a.m. London time every day next week. And then we are culminating in a workshop on Saturday for 2 hours at 10 a.m. London time, where I will take you through I will take you through this envisioning process so that we can do it collectively and together. Because I tell you why. It's one thing to do this by oneself, but every time I get my team together and we vision together, or every time a community of women who are driven by the same thing, and we are all driven by the same thing to make the world better for humanity, better for the planet, better for, every species. When we come together and we collectively dream and we collectively vision, you get access sometimes to things that you don't necessarily see by yourself. And I've seen this magic happen hugely when we're in the same room. And what I was blown away to discover over the last 9-10 months is that same energy joins us even when we are geographically diverse. So we still get that same weighty, collective dreaming energy that comes when we all do it together. So that will be happening next Saturday. So please make sure you join us for Activate next week and share it widely. I mean, we have a mission to get these tools into the hands of 1 million women. There is no way that we can do that alone. And so if anything that we do here at One of Many resonates with you, and there is any woman in your life that you love, that you care about, please share it with them. Please share the work with them. It is just a deep honor to serve those around you and to support you as well. So let's check some of these takeaways. Aisha says, my takeaway is my vision does not have to be perfect, but keep navigating towards it. That's it. Alison says, focus on what North Star is, then move daily towards it. Sign up to Activate, and I'm already doing Be Love this weekend. Yeah, we've got a big weekend this weekend. I'm also leading the Be Love retreat. Goodness me. Louise says, I'm still feeling blurry. Yeah, well, you will be, darling, because we haven't done the process. I've just told you what needs doing, right? So join the challenge. Yes, join the challenge, because I will take you through all of these little steps, step by step, over the next week, Louise. And, oh, lovely. You'll have just finished night shifts. Okay, cool. Yes. Wonderful. Excellent. Sounds great. Roz says, I'm going to lose the perfectionism, block out 9 a.m. all next week and Saturday to get involved with Activate and radical replenishment. Thank you, Joe. You're welcome. Louise says, perhaps it's to continue with my dream, second job, working with children. Beautiful. Yeah, it could be that. Absolutely. Simone says, make my decisions based on if the result brings me closer to or moves me away from my sexy blurred North Star. That's it, darling. Well done. Love it. Love it. Lynn said, I had a day scheduled today to plan. I'm going to put that on hold now until I've done the challenge. Thank you for your continuous support. Oh, Lynn, that's a beautiful idea, actually. I'm telling you right now, if I had tried to create my 2021 scenario planning, I don't even call it a plan because anything could change, right? But there's scenario A, scenario B. We could talk about this. We're going to talk about all of this as we move through the process together. But if I had tried to do that before doing all of the work I'm going to take you guys through next week, I would have come out with a very reactive, very small version of 2021, which would have attempted to fix 2020 instead of clearing and opening up to the future and calling into the future, which is 2021, that which is aligned. So I think that's a really good choice, my darling. Today, if you're feeling, why don't you take today then to do some of that radical replenishment that's needed? Get yourself ready, right? Rest up. Do some journaling, just go for walks, get yourself centered, do all of that, or do some admin-y stuff that you can just get out of the way. Do that kind of stuff today is probably a good way. Sharon says, my takeaway is I need to empty out that anger first, frustration, fear first. Yes, lovely. We'll work on this together next week in the challenge, ladies. Janet says, sitting in my kitchen on my own in silence is bad. Embracing the knowledge and love in One of Many is good. This is a good takeaway, Janet. This is good. I love it. Yes, lovely. Amelia says, my vision doesn't have to be clear to be good. Great takeaway. Oh, I love this one, Helen. The collective womanhood of One of Many will support me in moving forward. We will, my darling. There are so many amazing women in this community. So many. Jean is saying, my takeaway today is radical replenishment before anything else. Try to open up a bit. Yes. Replenish first. Absolutely. Ladies, what a session. I've had fun today. I hope that's been really helpful for you. Once more, Keep your eyes out from Friday. You can get yourself registered for Activate and you can join the pop-up Facebook group for that to go through the challenge next week. Keep next Saturday for the workshop. We're also going to be opening doors. Many of you have been waiting for us to open doors for the Living the Change program, which is coming up. So that's going to be happening at the end of next week too. So if you've been waiting for that, know that that is on the horizon. This is a sampler of all of that for you so you can feel what it's like to be a part of that community over the next week or so. It's going to be brilliant. Please do feel free to share this video, this workshop, Activate with any of your friends as always. And thank you so much for being one of many. Take it a day at a time at the moment, ladies of you who are in the UK where things are changing fast again. Give yourself the gift of what do I need to sort today? What can I sort the next week? And as we get closer to the end of the week, then maybe you can think in 3 or 4 day chunks. And then in the next, week's time, you might be able to think in month-long chunks. As the rate of change gets faster, shorten your planning and time frames. Just a little word of planning in terms of what's going on at the moment for a lot of us here. Awesome, beautiful. All right, my darlings, lots and lots of love to you, and I look forward to seeing you. Oh, by the way, Lunch and Learn Live, this particular thing will happen as normal next Tuesday right here at 1 p.m. That is happening as normal. But in addition to that, we have Activate happening. And yes, Louise is saying, what's happening with Living the Change? We are opening the doors for another cohort of members to join us. So yes, this is our 2021 intake. We've had people on the waiting list now for 3 months waiting. When does that happen? Since September, I think, was the last time we opened doors. So a lot of ladies have been waiting and wanting to be a part of it. So we are opening doors to that on Saturday. So hooray! All right, my darlings, thank you so much. Lots of love. See you very soon and have a great week till then. Bye.